Good night, fellow punchers. The clock on the wall says 2-1, 2-1, 21 minutes past 9 on Friday night. Back with a look at the card for Champions Day in Ascot tomorrow. It'll be hot deep, I think. That's the way I read it, with all the rain. And a lot of meetings off today, some off again tomorrow. So we had, I woke up this morning, itchy eyes, runny eyes. I had that problem about 3 years ago, and I told the quack, and he said that there was a clash of tablets, so he took me off one. But I'm not on them tablets now, so I don't know what the hell was on this morning. And all day today, somebody mentioned the other night about the light or the screen, but it's not the screen, because I have a light, I have a circular light behind it to shine out. It's not the screen. The screen isn't bright at all, but desperate and comfortable. Now, it could be a head cold that I picked up. That's the reason for it, but desperate and comfortable today, so it didn't move out at all. And I should have had a few things to do. Anyway, we'll try and get through this as best we can. We had Bucky Larson was placed. He went out to 12-1 today, back into 8s. Probably needs a better draw and a mile trip. And the other two horses got no help in the saddle at all. From the first one, I think she was just out for a spin on a pony, and the ground couldn't have been that bad for her. She made no effort at all. And Danny Tudhope, don't know what he was doing staying back. He must think he was on de jour or something. But a horse was finishing fast, but why did he wait so long at the back? He didn't do that before. Jockeys did make you think at times, but what can we do? We pick the ones we think is going to be competitive, and we need help from the saddle, but we don't get it at times. Before we go on to tomorrow, there's a race tomorrow morning I want to look at. It's the Caulfield Cup. It's on at 7:15 Irish times. Lots of familiar names there that we'd see. Gold Trip, that won the Turnbull the last day, and that was only over a mile too. This is a mile and a half. That's the Melbourne Cup winner from last year, and that was over 2 mile. Without a Fight, that done us a good turn when it was with the Chrisfords last year in York. I think it was June or July of 22. That's a horse to watch in this race tomorrow, is Break Up. I think this could be a prep for the Melbourne Cup. We have Soulcombe, that hosed up in the Molecombe, wasn't it? And it was sold on then at big money, gone to Australia. The mile and a half is suited tomorrow, as will the Good to Firm ground. There is a doubt about Gold Trip taking place, I read earlier, because they don't want to go on Good to Firm. Duke de Sessa, that was with Dermot Weld. Huyamal was second to Desert Crown in last year's Epsom Derby, when with Andrew Balding at the time, wasn't it? Then it went on to George Bowie. Okita Sushi is ridden by Karen McAvoy for Joseph O'Brien. He also has Valiant King. The Turnbull was only there recently. We'll have a quick just look at the finish of it, but look where Soulcombe is on the rail. It's in about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. About 10th position on the rail. Take into account that this was over a mile and a quarter. It says that ground was soft, but I'm not so sure about that. But Good to Firm ground over a mile and a half, I think tomorrow will suit.
And Romantic Warrior shuffled back to 6th, 4 off.
He gets no run at all.
A length away Spanish Mission, and then came Right You Are, Emissary the Rails. A length Francesco Guardi, and then came Soulcombe, Duke de Sessa, El Potagon. Well back Berkeley Square, Gold Trip and Lunar Flare as they run for the money in the Turnbull. 5.50 out. Bankmore tried to soul away from them. A length and a half, West Wind blows Uncle Bryn. They were followed by Ozapinko presenting. Romantic Warrior brought towards the middle of the track. McDonald hasn't moved yet. 350 to go. Ozapinko up to West Wind blows. Romantic Warrior. And here's Gold Trip, the Melbourne Cup winner, storming down the outside at the 200. Gold Trip runs on by 2 lengths, 3 lengths. West Wind blows and Soulcombe, but it's all Gold Trip. Gold Trip is bolted in the Turnbull. West Wind blows second, Soulcombe third, and Romantic.
Some turn of foot from a 2 miler. Came from Stone Cold last. That was bought from France. I think it was 2.3 million before it went off out last year to win the Melbourne Cup, so they had spotted it. They knew what it was like. My selection, it says the betting is I think Gold Trip is 11-2 favourites, giving a good bit of weight away as top weight. I'd be suggesting Soulcombe. I backed to there a while ago at 6-1 each way. It'll probably be shorter if in the event that Gold Trip doesn't run. A quick look just before we go on to tomorrow as well. We got in on Sunday in the Munster National. Danny Gilligan is riding Cocoa Beach. He won the Tasties. We were on it last year at the time when it won for us. Or was it this year? No, last year, wasn't it? He won one big race for us anyway. But we're on the Gopher at 12s, and now there's only 13 declared, and Gordon Elliott has 8 of the 13. But they're paying a fifth of the odds now, 4 places. So the Gopher is around 7 or 8 to 1. So with a quarter of the odds 4 if he gets placed at least anyway. He'll be hop deep on Sunday. If I'm anyways middling, I will go. On to tomorrow. Now, I spent a few hours in and out today between washing my eyes and taking paracetamol and whatnot, and I was going on heavy ground. I mentioned a couple of ones last night, but I stuck sort of with a couple of them, and I switched from a couple of them as well. Now, I'm going to go through each race and I give my opinion, and as to say, everyone has a hole in their earth and everyone has an opinion, so everyone has their own opinion, so do what you want to do. I'm just going to give mine. I'll put the selections up in the description. You don't have to back them if you don't want to, and don't be doing accumulators or anything like that, because that only helps the bookie make money. Be selective on what you do on a big day. It stays there ground soft and good to soft. I think the racing might be switched. I didn't check to see, and I probably should have. But I'm going that the ground is heavy. In the 115 is the long distance cup. Kyprios is the 5-4 favourite. Won 4 races for us last year. Was off in for a long time. Came back, ran a decent enough, pretty good trial run the last day behind Elderov. I mentioned last night about Sweet William, and I backed him yesterday at 10-1 each way. I think he's an improving horse, and I think the secret to him is an improving horse if he gets his ground. And he ran his best race this year on heavy ground in Goodwood. And if we look at the last day's run in Doncaster, it was 2 miles 2. And if you stopped it at 2 mile, he probably was. You could say he was going to win it. He did go ahead of Trushan, and Trushan rallied to beat him, but he has more stamina, as he proved winning the 2.5 mile race in France when we were out there, and I thought that was performance of the weekend.
Down with 2.5 furlongs left to go. Trushan down the middle of the track all by himself. Sweet William goes second ahead of Coltrane, and then comes Broome under a little bit of pressure. Can Trushan hang on here? Tackled now by Sweet William over on the far side. Coltrane's not picked up. Neither has Broome. It's a great battle. A furlong left to go. Trushan joined by Sweet William over on the far side. Sweet William falters and Trushan finds a bit more. Trushan roared home here by the crowd. Done it. Trushan did most things wrong, but still.
He's only beaten a length and a half there. And if you look at the race where he stormed home on heavy ground, I know it was only a handicap, but it proves that he was better on heavy ground.
And Torcello leads the way. Sweet William coming there very strongly under Rab Havlin in the pink-white sleeves. Omniscient driven hard. Adjuvant being smuggled into the race by Frankie Dettori on the far side. On the right is Mr. Curiosity with Yukon Glen. Adjuvant and Sweet William, these two battling on together head and head, followed by Yukon Glen running amazing race. Back in third place as they run inside the final furlong, and Sweet William now goes on from Adjuvant, followed by Yukon Glen and Torcello, and it's Sweet William really opening up and relishing the conditions. He's 3 lengths clear, even idling a little. He's so good, he's too good for them. Sweet William wins.
I know that was only a handicap race, but I was just trying to say that he likes the ground, maybe better than Coltrane. I like it. So I backed that yesterday. I always back a race to try and to see, can you make a quid off a bookie. I backed that at 50 odds at 10 to 1 yesterday. It's into 8 now in places and 7.5. There's also a bet you could probably do without, is there without 2 there? Without Kiprios and Trushan. That'd be interesting to see that. Get out of the way. 2 to 1 without the 2 of them. That could be an option. On to the second race. The sprint. I found this the hardest race of all to handicap. Everyone has beaten each other in the last couple of years. There's a few trained especially for the race, no doubt. But Kinross back to 6. I think it's better 7, and not as the ground is hot deep as it might be tomorrow. Sense of Duty looks to be trained especially for the race. Money coming for it looks like the last couple of days. But the fact that it was behind that's Thunder Bear, and Thunder Bear done nothing for the form. He got beaten for us lately, and seems to have won on Good to Firm Good. So how will he like the heavy ground is the thing. You have Sandrine, that beats Spycatcher before. Spycatcher beat that. There's an outsider in it. They're paying 4 places in this. Ocean Quest for Jessica. Jessica doesn't send too many over. When she does, she has to, you have to take her sort of serious. But this was 4th in the Commonwealth to Shaquille on Good to Ferrum. And when you look at when it won on heavy, it won first time out this year, it hosed up in a listed race on heavy ground. And the ground, that's the reason it went for it. And when it won first time out, it was unyielding, but that was really soft. The last day soft, I don't know what went wrong with it the last, but they weren't too busy on it anyway, but it won the time before. And she said at the time that it was geared for an autumn campaign. So it's 25 to 1. It was an open affair apart from the favourite. So that's what I did. Ocean Quest. In the 225, which is the fillies and mares race. I'm still here. This was won by a 3-year-old. 1, 2, 3. The last 6 years. Emily Upjohn, Eshad won for tonight. Star Catcher, Magical, and Hydrangea. And you have to go back as far as 2016 for Journey to win. So that stat throws out a scatter of them. And I was mentioning above the curve last night, but in the same race, I was looking at it again today. There's a 3-year-old that caught my eye a couple of times, is Rue Boissonade. This was on soft ground in September in the Prix Vermeil behind. Now this is where I took out Sea Silk Road for Longchamp, but if you watch the horse on the outside of it, it's the one I'm on about.
Mellow, the grey down the outside, coming with a challenge as they head down towards the last 200 metres. Mellow is coming home strongly. Warm Heart is battling on with her, though. It'll between this pair. Warm Heart in the dark blue colours and James Doyle have won. Mellow be beaten about a neck in second. Sea Silk Road has finished off strongly and has probably grabbed 3rd position from possibly in 4th Rue Boissonade.
Rue Boissonade. And then in this next one it was something similar, which was behind Sea Silk Road the last day in Longchamp. But that was, it says it was good to soft. That was good to firm ground. This horse needs good soft ground. It hosed up on heavy ground earlier in the year. I'm picking everything on the ground. That's the videos I was looking at today, and it's a 3-year-old, and it's 14-1 there with the green bookie. 12s in the second and that last run that I showed behind or above the curve was behind it, and so was Rosie Sen. So that was a good run. Jackie O is a 3-year-old, but it hasn't ran at the distance before. You have to take it sort of that it will stay, but I like to know will it or not before I go for it. So that's the French horse. There is a danger that the French jockeys don't move in time, but I think it'll be thereabouts. The next race then is the Queen Elizabeth, the QE2. The stats for that. One, two, 4 out of the last 5 years has been won by a 3-year-old. I looked through the whole lot. I came down between Paddington and Nashwa. I think Big Rock needs a mile too, and Nashwa, its best form is actually at a mile this year, and it has a 4-pound swing with Paddington as well for its last run, or not its last run, it's the last run that they met. Paddington was 4-6 favourite that day. Nashwa was 13-2. Nashwa gave it £4, and they're on level weights tomorrow. But I think Paddington is unbeaten at a mile, and it's only unbeaten. It's only beaten twice, wasn't it? On its first run and at that run. Yeah, it was Ascot. They brought it over first time to Ascot for a maiden. Has won at the track. That was the James's Palace it won. Has won on soft. I'm because the stats are so strong in favour of a 3-year-old, I'm going for Paddington, but the big danger is Nashwa. I'll be doing a reverse forecast with the two of them. On to the Champion Stakes at 3:45. I'm a bit slow at it tonight now, forgive me. This was only one 3-year-old has won this in the last 5 years. And actually, I'm going for a real outsider in this. A horse that was second in this 2 years ago is 28-1 there. I haven't backed each way. I backed him actually at 33s, the Dubai Honour. But this was second 2 years ago to Seal Away. But they sent it off on its travels after that, then went to Châtain and went to Medan. But that was good ground all over. But the time that it ran on really soft ground was in France. Now I know it's a while back, but it relished the conditions, I thought. And when they say soft over there to me, it's
Tello
more
on
heavy.
the left, more down the centre is Patrick Sarsfield in company with Magellan. Yellow Jacket of Third Realm. Cadillac, white and red, making good progress. Extreme right is Dubai and Magnicor is with us as well. Over the far side running is said about this is wide open as Third Realm in the yellow from Dubai Honour. James Dawn nearest to us is storming through. Magnicor is coming with him, but Dubai has won it by about 2. Magnicor might just be...
Seldom you see a horse picking up on the ground. They're saying that was soft. I mean, that'll be hardly raceable here. It's a huge price. I'm just taking a gamble on that. Of the others, Master Def, they're saying if it goes, a horse that won like in Saudi. We were on it that day 4-1 last February. But a horse that wins a good to firm, you'd imagine. They mightn't run it tomorrow. They're saying they're going to look for it in the morning. Back to Horizon Door in France, but better ground as well that day. King of Steel, the ground will suit. Tipped him the last time in Ireland when he was 4th. Better at longer, I thought it would be. I said the last time that he needed the distance. He was behind August Roden. We're on him that day, but he's better at a mile and a half, I think. On to the last. The Balmoral Handicap. I'm on Awaal. Yesterday it was 12s. I know we backed Barra there the last couple of times, and we tipped it a couple of times in that it didn't run. But this was 12s yesterday, and this loves heavy ground. If you look at it when it won in Redcar last October off a handicap, it hosed up off 93. Then its first run this year to second to Migration in the Lincoln. It ran the last year. It was an enlisted race, but it was good ground. And throughout the run in Goodwood, it was third to Jimi Hendrix there as well on good ground, but it's better on soft or heavy ground. It has a £5 pull, I think, with Migration. Migration carried 9, and he carried 9-7. 9-9-9-7. Query up. Is mad for action. 9-6. It's only £2 the last day, and it's £9. So the £7. Oh, your man was carrying, or that jockey was claiming 3, I think, that day. Baradere, I just think, is gone up in the waist too much. So I'm with Simon Crisford and Baradere, or not Baradere, Awaal. There's a few there that we backed before, but anyway, there's one horse at a huge price tomorrow night, and if we have £1 left, is Kitten's Dream. I think it's an awful bad race altogether, but it has won. This is a 2-mile race, but it's rated 46 now, and it's only a 6-year-old, and it won over at 61 and at 59 before. Might be an each way play at 11 or 12 to 1. It's 14s in places. But anyway, where am I? I'm hid. That's me. Bash the bookies over and out. Oh, your man, what do you call Leeds had a good winner there today at Dundalk. Fair play to him. Owen took the day off. Any that fancies Anton, put them up. And we'll trust you. Bash the bookies over and out.